Lovely evening. So when we're talking about students with disabilities, we want to first of all start with the data because the data drives what we do. So first of all, I'd like to point to this little chart right here. You can see there are disabilities on the left-hand side, and there are percentages on the right-hand side of these students who have not been invited to a social activity in the past 12 months. Of specific interest to me are students with autism, with over 50% of them not being invited to a single social activity in the past year. Our students with intellectual disabilities, physical disabilities, visual impairments, emotional impairments, learning disabilities, and so on and so forth. Frankly, I find this data upsetting. Furthermore, this data extends to students who never or rarely receive phone calls from friends. We see similar characteristics with these numbers as well. Students with autism, 74% of them are not receiving phone calls often from friends. That's a staggering statistic. Additionally, students who never got together with friends in the past 12 months, again, these statistics are absolutely incredible and disheartening, especially when you consider that all of us learn how to socialize and how to behave based upon modeling. When we're around our peers, when we're around other people, that's how we figure out how to behave ourselves and how to further socialize. So peer-to-peer at Marine City, our Mariner crew, our mission here is to connect students with one another at school, also to create lasting ties to their community and to the greater world around them. So peer-to-peer is an evidence-based school-wide peer partner program. We're promoting belonging, independence, and enhanced academic opportunities for students, not just with autism, but with other disabilities. At Marine City, our group is so small that we're actually extending this beyond just kids with disabilities. We're looking at students who just socially struggle, maybe don't really find a place where they fit in Marine City High School or middle school. So through peer-to-peer, we harness natural opportunities for these students to connect with one another. We're curating experiences so that they can get the modeling, so that they can better learn how to socialize and behave themselves, and hopefully make more friends and become more social. Also part of that, we're giving kids the skills that they need to understand disability and to sort of demystify what is disability, why does a student with autism behave this way. We talk about a lot of that stuff, and so we are increasing understanding and acceptance. So each peer-to-peer program is different based upon what it is that each school looks like, but results across the board are the same. There's improved outcomes for students with disabilities, and overall, a really huge point is that we are creating a positive, accepting school culture for all students. It benefits not just students with disabilities, but their gen ed peers as well. So to start off our year with peer-to-peer, we started off in summer camp, Ms. Van Hammy and myself. In the classroom, we talked about the idea, is everyone welcome in our school? So at Marine City High School, does everyone, are we greeting everyone? Are we welcoming everyone? Or do our statistics really look like those first couple of slides that I told you, where kids are being ostracized and not included in social activities? We bring in Eric Carter. He's from Vanderbilt University. He's done a lot of work on this. He looks at a continuum from exclusion to belonging. And so we discuss this with the students. How do we go from a model where some kids are being excluded or segregated into a more inclusive environment where more kids feel like they belong? We talk about how do you know when you belong in a place versus just fitting in? What's the difference? What's more important? Okay? And so how do we get to a place where more students feel like they belong? Carter has 10 dimensions of belonging. We kind of take all of these dimensions and pull them apart and talk about what does it mean to be known at school, right? What does that look like? What does it mean to be needed? What does it mean to be present, okay? And so we discuss all of these things with examples, right? So that students who are acting as mentors kind of understand what their role is, right? To help students with disabilities feel more like they belong. at our school. So my personal philosophy, when I teach a peer-to-peer class, I think that we need to learn about disability from disabled people. So there's Stacy Milburn on the upper left and Judy Heumann, both disability rights activists who have passed away in the past couple of years. We'll read the book El Defo, written by C.C. Bell, who herself has struggles with hearing loss. During summer camp, we also watched the movie Crip Camp, which sort of outlines the civil rights movement that is the disability rights movement. And the kids kind of learn through history how the face of disability has changed and where we're at right now. So students in my class experience what I call a paradigm shift, okay? They understand that people with disabilities are not broken. There's nothing wrong with having a disability. But a society where people with disabilities are denied access is broken. And together, once we understand that, we can fix that, working together. So during our summer camp, we had a really fun meet and greet. So once we did our classroom activities, towards the end, we invited our mentees to come in with our mentors just so they can get to know each other. They did things like play volleyball. They played with the giant Jenga, as you can see that picture there. They played cornhole. They had pizza. It was a really good opportunity for them to get together just as kids, get to know each other, and socialize. And this extended right into the classroom. Here's my assignment. She's working with her mentees in Mrs. McCullough's ELA 6 class. She's a great mentor. She just jumped right in and got to work. I can talk about peer-to-peer, but it's really impactful if you see what my mentors are saying about the program. And keep in mind, we just started week 4. Here's Jade Blanchard with her mentors in Mrs. McCullough's 6th grade ELA class. She says that many kids sit alone at lunch, many struggle to find friends, others struggle at home or to keep their grades up. To me, peer-to-peer is a lot deeper than school. It's about building a relationship and being a friend.
So like in this slide here, Jade, it's really nice is that we are lucky to have a campus, and so we can go down to the 6th grade. So we have 10th and 11th and 12th graders, partnering up with 6th graders. So you can see that she just doesn't not with her one student. She's got the whole table that just kind of introduces and helps them become friends. But she also goes to lunch because of how our schedules overlap. She's with Mrs. McCullough for like half the hour, and then they go to lunch. So then she's also going to lunch and helping building that relationship at lunchtime as well, communication with other peers.
I tell them all the time how influential they are. You see here, she says you have the opportunity to meet someone new. This is Jade continuing, helping them grow and seeing change in their life. I love being able to see my students grow mentally, emotionally, and academically. She says this program is very beneficial as it gives these kids a friend to rely on and always be there for them and whatever they need. So there's Jade Blanchard. Lily Carruthers stated, because of peer-to-peer, I've made an amazing new friend that I get to hang out with at school as one of my classes. So she's like, I get to hang out with my buddy for a class, right? So it's gone over really big. She says, though we don't talk only during class, we also wave and smile at each other in the hallways, stop and talk for a second here and there, and we say hi to each other at football games. She says being a part of the peer-to-peer program not only means she gets to be a mentor and a leader, but she gets to be a friend to those kids who need it. We've got Cam Simons and Tila Day that work together in Mrs. McLeod's Intro to Engineering class. Cam points out that we all need someone to talk with, and she really appreciates that she can help the younger kids to feel more comfortable in middle school or high school and to know that they have someone to talk to. And even more important, these kids are really understanding the point of this. She says it will help to create a better community. So she knows it doesn't just stop with her. We got Kira McGuire here. She says, I love the idea of being able to see a kid's face light up when they finally understand something they've been struggling with. And I know that I made that happen, right? So she's really taken ownership of her position as a mentor. She says it's helped her to grow as a person and shaped her into the person she wants to be for both herself and everyone around her. We've got Matthew Harper. He had some really wise words. He said that everyone deserves an equal opportunity to learn. He stated that being a part of peer-to-peer is being that friend and giving people that opportunity. He said it's so important to him that everyone feels a sense of belonging in a public space like school, and it means a lot to him that he was given the opportunity to be a part of it. And that is all that I have for you. So, as you can tell, peer-to-peer has been making a huge impact in our building. I think we can all sort of agree that we're feeling the collective love. We're getting our leader kids to really think about what does it mean to belong? How can we help other kids to belong in our community? And I think it's been going really, really well so far. We also have a quote from Emma Terhune here. She says it's opened her eyes to learning styles, personalities, and interests, especially how everyone is unique in their own ways. And she's talking about building connections, which is just huge. So in addition, as I said, students with disabilities don't necessarily get the opportunity to socialize. So we're going to start early. On Thursday, we're taking off to do a service learning field trip at Cass Community Social Services down in Detroit. If you don't know anything about Cass Community Social Services, they're wraparound social services, person-centered philosophy, which is right in line with our philosophy as well. The students will be, what are they going to be doing at such a place? They're going to be working together to make and serve lunch, and then they're going to create these mud rugs. I have a picture of one on the right-hand side. These are my old students from Royal Oak when I took my peer-to-peer group from there to Cass Community Social Services. And then whatever they create will actually be sold in the Cass Community Social Services gift shop, which is pretty cool. Cass Community Social Services, if you've ever heard of the Tiny Homes Detroit project, that's part of their wraparound services. So we'll take a quick drive-by as we take off and head back to campus. We'll sort of see the Detroit tiny town as well. Next up, more opportunities for socialization. So we'll run lunch bunch events once a month to just give the kids an opportunity to get together and have some fun. And we're currently applying for grants to go to the DIA, the Detroit Zoo, Sea Life Aquarium, and even Dave & Buster's. Get the kids out of the building and just enjoying each other. And that's all that I have.
Thank you.
That's excellent. Great
Thank
program.
you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
How many students participate?
So I have 30 students participating right now.
And what grade are they in?
6th grade to seniors.
So how many mentors do you have?
So we have 12 or 13. Well, we have one that's technically, he came to camp, but then he didn't, we didn't have room in his schedule. So he's off the grid. He's still working as a mentor. We just gave him a mentee inside of his history class that he's already taking. So it's really worked out nicely. He's very dedicated to the program.
So this is a class that they take.
Yep. So instead of like reporting to me for that hour, they go into a classroom with their mentee. So they're essentially attending a class with their mentee. And so they role model, appropriate, note-taking skills or appropriate participation or just sort of, it's a nice program because it can help with academic skills, right? So if I have a mentee that has a weakness in math, I could pair that person with a mentor that's strong in math, right, and kind of take some of the academic weakness out of the equation. Or if I have students who are struggling socially, right, and a lot of my autistic students have really good academic skills, we can kind of help to fill in and bridge some of those social gaps, just to get them talking and to let them know, right, like, you have friends here, right, you belong here, this is a great place for you, so. It's
That's
really
awesome.
powerful stuff. Thank you.
So are there times when are they always in the classroom with the person they're mentoring, or are there times when you bring them back together to work on
That's where the
their
lunch bunch
skills?
events come in.
Yeah,
mentoring.
that's where the lunch bunch and the field trips come in, where they can, come out together and just do something social together instead of attending a class together. Absolutely, gives them that opportunity. Yeah.
Based on my limited experience at St. Clair with this, I mean, all groups benefit from that. And it's not just
Absolutely.
modeling behaviors and friendships in those small groups, but it really models for the student population in general. Kind
Absolutely.
of change the way that they, behave class, interact,
Right.
engage, so. good on
Creating a
you.
more accepting student population as a whole.
Good on you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you, I appreciate it. Any other questions?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item is our consent agenda. A motion is needed for the approval of the minutes, approval of the payment of bills, the financial statement and schedule of investments, and the appointment of teachers.
So moved.
Support.
So the approval of minutes will be from last month's meeting, which was August, our last August meeting. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Our next item is our department reports.
Good evening. The only thing I wanted to mention tonight is that Wednesday, October 4th, is our count day. So obviously, attendance is important every day of the school year, but especially on that day because that is where 90% of our funding is allocated from. So we just encourage everyone to attend school on count day, and all of our buildings and departments are getting ready for that. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to provide an update that we are nearing the end of our fall testing cycle, which then that data feeds into the interventions that we've highlighted at a couple different meetings, both at the elementary school and at the middle school. So we have 4 elementary interventionists and then the 4 middle school interventionists, so that will lead to small groups being formed. And then at the middle school and the high school, we'll also be starting up our intervention win time groups and then the enrichment projects at the middle school. So very exciting times lie ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just 2 things tonight. First, we were able to get the cement installed in the courtyard next to the old boardroom so the ECC can put an 8x8 shed out there to store some of their outdoor equipment in. So we finally got that done today. And then the thing I'm pretty excited about is I'm happy to report that the second building is starting to get the new condensing high-efficiency boilers put in, and that's Marine City High School. And those new high-efficiency condensing boilers will be feeding the whole campus. So that building will become much more efficient when we fire up the heating in the next few weeks here, so happy.
That's great news, thank you.
Good evening, and a quick update from the business office. In the month of July, our municipality started collecting property taxes, and part of that collection includes our operating mills. And I just wanted to report that through August to date, we've collected 43% of our operating mills, which is just under $13 million of our revenue. So it was pretty good for the first 2 months. Not too bad.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Happy to announce this is my last report on copy machines in our district. I am smiling. By the end of this week, we will have the last of the 5 that were on back order in place, and by the end of this week, I will have this project closed out. You probably have heard my updates for a while on this, so I will not have another update on this. I'm very excited. We were able to work through some issues with the paper cut software and some of the concerns with printing labels, and we have all solutions for any concerns anybody had, and we'll roll that out at the end of this week. Number 2, all new technology in our district. This week, we've done this before a few years ago. I'm having basically a technology blitz. I'm taking my entire team. We've scheduled time in each building this week. We're gonna go visit, close out help desk tickets, just kind of do a massive attack on every building, if you want to call it that. Answer any questions anybody has. We are in week 4, and we're excited that things are smoothing out, and but we want to answer and help as best we can. Last, really quick, October 7th is going to be our garage sale. If somebody wants a 13-year-old computer, or maybe a projector, or maybe a computer monitor, we will be getting information out on Facebook and such for a district or a community-wide garage sale of the old technology.
What was that date again?
October 7th.
October 7th. Great, thank you.
Hi, good evening. I just wanted to share that this year we're doing the Michigan Free Meals program, so all students receive free meals. Part of us being able to do that, the districts all had to pay off the negative balance for student accounts, And so we did that this summer, which was about a $6,000 payoff to students' accounts. Angie and I today applied for a 31K grant that will hopefully give us that money back into the general fund, so we should be hearing about that shortly, next few weeks.
Great, thank you.
Good evening. With respect to safety and security in the district, our new AEDs that we purchased have been delivered, distributed to all the buildings in the district. Training's getting ready to be scheduled, arrangements for training is being scheduled, so we'll get that out to staff as well. Just to give you an idea, school nurse Carrie Mackey was an integral part of this program. Her attention to detail is pretty good. She arranged for us to have the pads in these AEDs replaced if they're ready to expire by making arrangements with Tri-Hospital to take our pads from us and give us pads that are going to have a longer date. So we shouldn't have to buy any new pads. We can just swap them out, which is nice.
Yeah, that's great.
Also, with the start of school, drill season is upon us. I've been going to all the schools across the district last week. I have several more this week, even a tornado drill this week. I'm happy to report all the new protocols we put in place are being followed, and people are doing a great job for the drills. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to committee reports.
Good evening. I just have two quick updates. The election committee met prior to our school board meeting this evening to review the proposed ballot language for the operating mills renewal, as Angie was just referencing. That will be a discussion item at the October board meeting and an action item at the November meeting. So the ballot language for the operating mills renewal. The second update is on our academic subcommittee. We are working on solidifying our long and short-term goals as to the work and purpose of our academic committee. So those are the two updates I have this evening.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we'll move into our information and discussion items, our Bond 2020 update with Jerry from OC.
Good evening, everyone. Brief update. Since June, we've put about 31,000 man-hours in on the campuses here. Most of that happening in Marine City, the high school. Hopefully you've seen some of that improvement going on, and we're excited, especially as Kirk pointed out, some of the efficiencies that are coming with that, with the boiler coming online. Up in St. Clair, the gym is rounding about. We're down to kind of just some finishing touches to get the gym turned over. We have been given occupancy by the state, so that's a big hurdle and something we're always looking for. We are looking for bid documents from TNP, the design team here, coming up in October for some pre-purchase items for long lead mechanical electrical items, and then we will be bidding the rest out near the end of the year for that next phase of St. Clair's campus. Bell River, the site work is down to punch list, the paving and sidewalk replacement that we did. So that's the update for tonight. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Gearing dishwasher. Julie?
Good evening. I'm here today to talk about the dishwasher. Due to the fire that we had at Gearing Elementary, it does need to be replaced. We solicited bids and received 3 bids, and it's my recommendation that we replace the dishwasher with Stafford Smith, and the dishwasher price is $37,115.
Does our insurance cover that?
So I talked to the insurance adjuster today, and they're going to come out and do an inspection on it, so we are in the process of trying to get some of that covered, so I'll have an update on that as soon as I hear back from them.
Great, great, thank you.
When we eventually leave Gearing, is that something that then we can sell?
So we've thought about that, so we could possibly sell, but also Palms Elementary does not have a dishwasher, so we would possibly look into possibly moving it as well.
That's a good plan.
In the meantime, keep working.
Dishpan hands.
Any other questions? No?
Thank you. Michael Walling with our curriculum.
Everything's on wheels, right? Everything's on wheels.
So I just have one item for discussion. We've talked before about the work of our interventionists and kind of the different pieces for our MTS framework that the district has in place. And so for discussion, I have the renewal purchase of our Edmentum Exact Path licenses for grades K through 8. The district is in receipt of at-risk funding, which needs to be utilized in accordance with our MTSS framework. This program allows our students to receive personalized support in addition to the Tier 1 support that they receive in the classroom. So that's all students in Tier 1. And then, as I had mentioned before, once we're done with our fall data collection, students will be placed into Tier 2 supports with our interventionists. And then this offers an additional layer on top of that Tier 2 support with our personnel. And so through this perpetual renewal, the district will be continuing with the use of Exact Path, the personalized learning program that we've been utilizing the prior 2 years. Does anybody have any questions for me?
No.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Dawn, elementary and secondary student handbooks.
Good evening. The handbooks have been updated in collaboration with the principals and are based on the model handbooks provided by Troon Law Firm. As you know, we are currently using Troon for our school board policies, and with using the model handbooks by Troon, now these handbooks align better with those policies. After tonight's review and discussion, the handbooks will be scheduled for board approval in October. So if you have any questions tonight, I can take those questions and we can come back to you with that so that we can have them adopted for the October board meeting.
Are we going to get copies of the proposed changes?
I thought it was included in your board packet.
They didn't have the red.
It
And it
won't
was
because
strikeout.
we went to the Troon handbook from what we had before, so they're completely different than what was used previously. So it
Okay.
is all new language and all new format.
Okay.
And all the principals have seen them. and-
All the principals have seen them, reviewed them, provided comments and input.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to do the red line just because they were so completely, I don't want to say they were different because the language is very similar, but the outline and the format was
They didn't line up.
different, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Got it.
All right, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Our next item is recognition of persons wishing to address the board. We don't have any green cards this evening. Green cards? No. So we will move on to our action items. Our first action item is the purchase of Gearing dishwasher. The administration recommends that the Board of Education approve the bid by Stafford Smith, Inc. in the amount of $37,115 for the dishwasher and installation at Gearing Elementary. A motion is needed.
So moved.
Support.
Are there any comments or questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Opposed? No. Motion carries. Our next item is the superintendent's evaluation cycle, which we discussed at last month's meeting. Per administration's recommendation, the Board of Education will adopt a superintendent evaluation cycle timeline to begin in January and end in December, with the annual evaluation completed and presented in November. So motion is needed.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposed? Okay, motion carries. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you very much for being here this evening.